Hey folks, it's a week before Father's Day and it's Pride Month. So by a series, by great good coincidence, here am I making a kilt. I'm about to start making a kilt in the Pride of LGBT tartan for a father who's commissioned this in support of his daughter who's come out. So well done him. It's a copyright controlled tartan. It's based on the New York City tartan because the Stonewall riots, and the colors are, of course, drawn from the pride flags. So we had some back and forth because it's, as I've mentioned elsewhere, and will continue to mention, I make every effort to have the client as involved as possible, certainly as involved as they want to be in the creation process of what to them is an exponent of personality and also a very strong message here. So we had some back and forth, and he finally said, he says, trust your judgment, do it the way you want, which of course, I always do my best job, but I also, when I look at something like this, I think, there's many ways I could do this, and almost certainly some of them are going to look better than the others. So the first thing I did was I looked at the cloth, and it's quite busy. You can see we've got a lot of detail in it. And for that reason, I'm a little less, I'm disinclined to sew it to the palette, sew it to the set, I should say. Because, of course, if we were doing the pleats, see, I would do it like this. Okay, this is the center element of the apron. So I would start in the middle of the back with that. And then I would go over, if I just do it by the width, we get into trouble because after a while, as you can see there, I'm going halfway down a narrow line and something like that. So realistically, I would be doing center there, probably center there. I would break down the centers of each pleat so that each element, so that line, this line, the red line, would all be centered. And I think it would look okay, but it's already a busy design. In my opinion, at least, the tartans that most effectively, or that look best when they're sewn to the set, are the very simple ones, the very blocky ones, very large scale, and relatively few color changes. But this is busy, and so I don't. Because the other thing is that when sewing, is that the pleating can create a 3D effect. It can give it some pop, and I think it would just give it too much. It would be overwhelming, and detail would be lost. So I've decided I won't say right away, but I quickly came to the decision, no, we're not going to pleat it to the set. So what I've done here, as you can see, I've laid out my various options, taking elements from the tartan. So, okay, there's purple centered on blue, yellow centered on the red from there, the red centered on green. And I've done this twice because I've done these three based on this green line, which is to the left of the yellow line. And these three are on the green line, red and green line on the right of the yellow line. I'll explain why in a minute. And the last one I did over here, which you can see, is I've centered it on this black line between the two colors of orange, the reddish and the more orange. And that can be really good because, again, that can be very effective because a client of mine invented that. And it can create a real popping effect. You get a real 3D effect there. So when I look at all of these, my decision's based on what does it do to the palette? Well, let's start with that purple and blue. It looks really good because, as an aside or as a reminder, we're not matching, we're complementing. We're getting a striking contrast and one that complements the front apron, which will be the tartan, of course. So I look at the purple and the blue, and you can see it really mutes the orange and the yellow. But when he walks, he's going to get a burst, a flash of bright color, and that might be really effective. Moving on, applying the same criteria, the same judgment to the yellow and orange, it kind of minimizes. I think it's more balanced in its portrayal, but now it's minimalizing the blue and the purple, but when he walks, we're going to get a dark flash. So I'm not going to make my decision short, quickly. I may not even make it today, but frankly, after I go through all of these, I'm going to be sitting here for a while, weighing it, right? So, and here again, we have the red centered on green and black, which has a very strong, I think this has a stronger vertical element than these do. I mean, they're all vertical, right? Because with a mature gentleman's figure, he's not he's solidly built. He's athletic and he's solidly built. But we always hope for that slimming. No matter how fit we are, we can take it. We can benefit by that slimming effect because tartan. So the red line to the left of the yellow, well, when he walks, what's he going to get? He's going to get a purple flash. Okay. Now here we are again with the red line to the wrong. I got those backwards. This one is to the right. This one is to the left of the yellow line, because with this one, when the pleats open when he's walking, again, we're going to get that bright flash. This, again, pleating to the split color, well, you're going to get a yellow flash, but it really washes out the blue and the purple, right? So at this time, I haven't made my mind up yet. I may not even make up my mind today. But in the interest of due diligence and research and learning, because this is the sort of job that pays you twice. The customer pays you that once, but you get experience and insight and all the rest of that, and that pays you a second time. That pays you in the future. So I'm going to consider this. I'm looking forward to this as an afternoon well spent. So I'm gonna look at these, because I've got the tartan beside it. What's the best contrast? I'm not even going to say yet, because I'm starting to make up my mind, but I don't want to influence myself if that's actually a concept. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, possibly 6. We could split it to blue and black, right? And I could pin that up and look at it too. And if we split it to blue and black, what would we get? Well, we wouldn't get much. We'd get a flash of exactly what we saw before. So yeah, I'm not even gonna look at that. Okay, so I'm gonna go back and forth. Because again, I'm looking for that strong vertical element, but I'm also looking for a color balance, but more than the color balance, or at least a color contrast in the two color contrasts. One when he walks and the pleats flash, and also the balance between the darker colors, the blue spectrum and the orange-red spectrum. So I'll report back when I've made my decision and starting to sew it up. But this is when you're designing something for someone. This is what you really have to do. You have to sit down and not just, as some other kilt makers have put it, to the stripe or to the set. End of. No, let's find how to make this. Let's decide what stripe and make this as an individual a garment as possible. Because again, we want people to say, oh yeah, he's wearing a kilt. But we also want people to stop in their tracks and go, oh my goodness, would you look at that? So there we are. Happy Pride to all of my prideful friends out there. And carry on, and we'll talk to you soon. Cheers.